Hello everybody and welcome to another Let's Chat. This is the 6th one, I think? I'm fairly certain it's the 6th one. I'm recording this on Saturday the 4th of January. Later tonight we'll be doing our... maybe that's why I'm getting confused, because I think tonight is the 5th little get together on the Steam group where we just hang around and chat a little bit. We've also started playing a little bit of TF2 because it's free to play, so there's no barrier to entry. That's basically why I picked that. And also, even though we are into 2014 and this is when the monetization changes are supposed to be happening on YouTube, they haven't actually happened yet. So, hooray! I'm not going to spend this episode complaining about YouTube per se. Or episode, I said, their best vlog, whatever you want to call it. Either way, I'm not going to be complaining about that because it's not happened yet. When is it going to happen? Well, January was thrown around as the date, not specifically January the 1st. And I can't imagine YouTube, Google, whatever, would want to be doing it as soon as, you know, they get back from their New Year holiday, etc. So it'll be coming. It's still definitely coming. Everybody knows it's happening. They've said it's happening. It is coming, and it's going to destroy us all, so to speak. It's just going to make things a lot more complicated, as I've gone over in the past. It isn't going to kill my channel. The Content ID sweep that happened in December had the potential to kill my channel, and I got through it largely unscathed. So I'm actually okay compared to other people, so I can't complain about that. I think 6 was my total Content ID claims across 1500 videos. I'd say that ratio is pretty damn good. So what did I want to talk about today? Well, there's only really one main thing I want to talk about, and that is Patreon. So that's going to be the only subject that I cover today, unless I get off on any wild tangents, of which I do have a habit of doing when I'm kind of just rambling without any prior notes, etc. So what is Patreon? Patreon is a fairly new site made by some guys in America, and it's a means of becoming a patron to artists, musicians, media people, content creators, and so on. And it's akin to the person in question, say it's a musician, playing their guitar on a street corner with a hat in front of them, where you can patron them by donating to them, by supporting them, by tossing a few coins into the hat. However, it's not exactly a donation in the sense that you are becoming their patron, you do get something for it, etc. And a few YouTubers that I know have been looking into this, and it is fairly new, so it's not something that people kind of caught on to. The presentation style is very like Kickstarter, however, as they say themselves, it isn't like Kickstarter in the sense that you're not trying to procure funds for one major event. This is a long-term thing where you can support a musician you like or a content creator you like. So I suppose it's obvious by now that the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm going to give it a go. I have set up a Patreon page, and even though I've only mentioned it briefly on Twitter, I've already had a couple of patrons, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you very much. And I'm going to go into a bit of detail about how it all works. However, I want to get it out of the way first that I do find it very, very uncomfortable to ask for any kind of help. I don't see this as specifically asking for help. It's more like asking for direct support as opposed to passive support. What is passive support? Passive support is watching my videos without ad block. That is passive support. You technically haven't done anything. Whereas this is direct, and because it's direct, it has its advantages. It means that you are directly supporting me rather than you try to support me by not having ad block on, but then Google takes their big chunk of the revenue. Then what I get left after they've finished picking the bones clean also gets diluted further because my network then takes their cut off of what I get after Google's had their share. And I don't think I'm allowed to say what percentage Google takes, but it's very, very high. Let's just put it that way. That's why YouTubers will always say that they don't make a lot of money. That's why. Google is the one that makes the most money out of this. Do not be under any confusion about that. Not that I'm saying that's a bad thing. They're providing the ads, so it's fair. But something like Patreon is very interesting in the sense that it gives you a chance to support directly, and you can set your own levels, and you can set your own. Actually, I've already seen some people manipulating the system a bit, and I don't like that at all. Which is why I'm being very. I hit my desk. I'm being very, very careful about how I'm handling this, because I do not want to do anything unethical. I also don't want to do anything unfair. I want to be able to offer something of genuine value for anything that I ask in return. So I saw some people who have been creating pages for their YouTube channel, not necessarily gamers, by the way. It could just be someone who uploads their own music or do their funny skits, etc. on YouTube, that kind of thing. But I saw some people who want people to patron them, or is it patronage? Yeah, you would say that a patron gives patronage. I don't know. Either way, that they would expect a little bit of a donation per video. And if you are genuinely trying to do this kind of content creation daily, like I am and many others, trying to ask for money per video when you basically are doing at least one video per day at least, I think that is borderline greedy. That is borderline trying to trick people into more money, spending more money than they want, even though you can set a hard limit. So I've set up my page to be a monthly donation of sorts, or a monthly patronage. And what does that mean? Well, that means, well, the minimum level I put in is $1. You can give me directly $1 per month. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but the gesture of, first of all, supporting me in that method is a good confidence booster. It's a good morale booster, but also, what's that saying? There's a saying, I'm going to read it out. You might hear me briefly move away from the mic. Where is that book? Damn, I can't find it. One of my Japanese study books has a saying on the front of it about a mountain starting with a single grain of dust. And that's what this reminds me of. I can't find the book to paraphrase it. I'll just paraphrase it. That's basically what it was. So even if you did only want to give $1 a month, I think that would make a massive difference. And by the way, I'm not going to become a shill and mention Patreon in every single thing I do. I am mentioning it now because I've only just made it. I will link it with my social medias in the description of my videos. But outside of Let's Chat, I will not bring it up, or I will definitely try not to unless someone asks me directly. So I'm not going to be going on about it in Monster Hunter videos or other Let's Play videos or Let's Look At. So I'm not going to be doing that. I am going to mention it on the Steam group, but that's due to the various forms of reward I've done for the other levels of pledges that people can give. So as I said, you can just do $1 a month. If you do that, I will thank you in Let's Chat. I will do a little bit. I have to do anything reward related at the first of the month. Why? Well, because this is all on the honor system, and as I said, it's basically a donation. So even if you pledge at the start of the month, if you change your mind by the end of the month, say I piss you off with some video where I make fun of something you really like, you can retract it without ever getting charged for anything. So that's why I have to wait and give out rewards after the money has actually been taken at the end of the month, etc. Not to go into too much detail about that. And oh, by the way, Patreon does take a cut of the money. They take, I can't remember if it's 7 or 8%, but it's definitely less than 10. That's to cover transaction fees and server hosting. So I think that is more than fair that they take 10 cents out of $1. And it's certainly a better rate than you can get elsewhere, including Kickstarter, which, by the way, if you don't know, Kickstarter takes 13% of the final tally. So if you wanted 10 grand but you managed to get $500,000, they're taking 13% of the $500,000. Which is another reason I dislike Kickstarter immensely. So yeah, I don't want to go into too many details, but there are other pledge levels you can go into. You can do $3 per month, or $5, or $10, and these will have various additional rewards. I don't like calling them rewards, and I don't like sounding like a shill. I don't want this to be a marketing. It's reminded me, just before I went into college, I got invited into this 6-week kind of collegey course for business, and it involved a work placement, and I was at a place that sold conservatories and new windows and crap like that. And the guy who was kind of mentoring me for it, oh, my dog's barking, apologies. The guy who was mentoring me for it always used to say, "We don't shill anyone here. We don't try and trick people into spending money here. We don't do sale patterns here." And at the back of my head, I was always laughing at him because his sales pattern was that he didn't have a sales pattern, and I couldn't ever work out if he was aware he was doing that or if it was a pure subconscious thing. But it's reminded me, because I think I might be subconsciously doing the same thing now, where I want to try really hard not to beg or try and elicit money from loyal viewers. It's hard not to. I mean, I think you can probably assume at this point that part of the reason I'm doing this is because I find it unfair that I'm now giving away a large chunk of my revenue to a network that isn't supporting me in any way whatsoever, and this is a way where they can't get anything. So it's kind of a way of getting back at them as well as anything else. There is one pledge level which I'm a bit uncomfortable with, and I'm not sure it's going to remain. I may actually get rid of it. It's a $50 a month pledge limit. Why is it that high? And well, I've limited it to only 5 for a start, and that's at a level for fellow YouTubers. It's there purely so if a fellow YouTuber wants to be supportive to me but also get something significant out of it, they will get access to doing a collaboration with me. I don't know if that is fair. I feel uncomfortable even saying it, so I may remove it. But as I say, You could just put in $1 if you wanted, and I have listed some goals that I aim for, so it's not just a nebulous, oh, I'll just do stuff with the money. No, I've put in some goals where I think, well, one, I think I will be at an amount where I can afford to upgrade my capture equipment to mean that I can capture footage from my PS4 when I do eventually get one. I've also worked out roughly what it would cost to buy my own game server. I don't know for what game. I mean, I would have to reach that level first, but then I would look into it. Like, say for example, I could buy a TF2 server just nice and private for everybody who turns up to the Steam chat, and I could mod it to however I wanted. Or, I mean, I picked TF2 there as an example because, again, it's free to play, so there's no additional charge for anyone else, but they're Counter-Strike servers or Chivalry servers, etc. There's a bunch of options there, so I've done a level where that would be, like right now I couldn't afford the monthly fees to host a server of a reasonable size for one or more games. So there's a level there for that. And then there's a level where I think I would be comfortably, safely able to do what I do now full time. I technically am doing it full time now. Will that last? If things carry on at the level they currently are, no, I wouldn't be able to, because I technically am not earning enough to live on, I think, going on. But, big but. If you are also hard up for money, if you also are just maybe a passing viewer, if you watch one series I do and don't watch anything else, do not feel like you have to help me by doing anything. What you need comes first, and I don't want anybody bringing hardship upon themselves because they think I'm desperate. I'm not desperate, it's just it would be nice. The alternatives going on, I would probably find a part-time job again and try and do the YouTube stuff at the same time as it, and that might mean less videos, but it wouldn't mean no videos, put it that way. So I think that about covers it, and I forgot to mention, but at some point I will have flashed up the link to my Patreon page. It's going to be at the end of every video description, and where I list like my Twitter and crap like that. No obligations. If you can't or just don't want to, I have absolutely no problem with it at all. I just think it's a very nice way to support people directly. That's not quite a donation in the form of a PayPal donation, which is not something I'd really want to do. It's not as passive as just not having ad block, as I was saying, but it's a nice way to show that you care. And not that it's a massive reward, but regardless of what level you pledge at, you get a nice little thank you. Oh my god, I said thank you. No! I've been hanging around in Skype calls with travelling salesmen too much. In case you don't know, that's particularly in Glasgow, but all of Scottish dialects, it's very easy to say F's instead of THs, and I just did it there. As I was saying, currently there is just a nice little thank you message that I've written that if you become a patron you get to see. There is also an option of doing a video, and I think I'm going to do a video. I don't know what type. I am in two minds about doing a direct face to camera video because I like to look people in the eye who are doing something nice for me. So I may do that, although my shyness may win out there, so I don't know. I might, when I do an end of the month let's chat about anyone who has become a patron, I might mention whether or not I've done the video. It'll be unlisted on my channel, so technically only people who become a patron will see it, although they could then technically share the link with whoever they wanted, so that's kind of why I'm in two minds about showing myself. Either way, I will do a thank you video of some kind, I just don't know what form it will take just yet. So how long have I been talking here? I've been pressing here 13 minutes. I do apologise for technically doing like a 13-minute sales pitch here. I assure you that I will not beg or bring it up at every opportunity. And I probably won't mention it outside of now giving people credit, like, you know, giving shout outs to people. Thank you to the 2 people who have already become patrons. I greatly appreciate it. I honestly was not expecting anyone to even notice that I'd done this prior to me making this video. And also, just to show you how new this whole Patreon thing is, I guarantee people are going to start picking up on it soon, I guarantee it. But just to show you how new it is, 2 of the CEOs of the site favorited my tweets that I made about it, that I was thinking of doing it and then that I did it. And then also I don't want to say the wrong position, but let me just read here, I've got my email here. One of their creator relation people on their team just got in contact to wish me a happy new year and to offer any advice and to offer any help if I need it. So I think they're very receptive to supporting YouTubers. My channel isn't big enough for them to make a big deal about it, but when you sign up it says warning, if you're a YouTuber with over 100,000 subscribers, don't just do this, contact us first. So I presume because they'll give you a lot of free PR. I don't think anyone who listens to me has a channel that size, but you know, if you know anyone who does, pass it on. Pass it on as a way of getting donations while offering something back. And I'm going around in circles here. Like I said at the start here, I find it really uncomfortable asking for help. I'm one of those people who believe that if you can't do something within your own means, then you shouldn't be able to do it. But at the same time, I am willing to admit that to be able to carry on doing this, I need support of viewers. So I don't know, I get kind of icky talking about this kind of thing in general. And I would feel really bad if people did kind of start donating monthly. And it is monthly, I think I said that already. It isn't like per video, that would be retarded. And you can't just stop whenever you want. But either way, I hope that the rewards I've put in are significant enough. If I did get up to my upper goal, I would definitely start offering considerable giveaways of considerable value, is what the thing I've pledged is. What does that mean? Well, that would mean full value games on Steam, or even box games for UK based people, although most of my audience is in America, I believe. So I would have to think that through. But either way, that's going to conclude this Let's Chat. I apologise if you found this one boring, or if you just didn't care about any of the stuff. But if you do decide to go and at least take a look at the page, you don't need to pledge, you can just go have a little look. Become a patron if you want. If you do at least that, you have my undying thanks, and I will certainly think of more ways to try and reward people who are willing to support me in this method. So yes, I think that's going to conclude everything. Don't worry, later tonight there will be a normal video where I won't mention this at all. Thank you for listening this long if you did. I apologise for going around in circles a few times. I've been thinking a lot about how to word all this without sickening myself, and I don't know whether I achieved that or not. Genuinely thank you if you made it this far through this chat, and stay tuned for the next one. Ta-da for now, everyone.